Yo, yo, yo. Gonna switch the flow up here a little bit today. But welcome. Episode 60. What are we on? Episode 64 of The Hangover. Georgia Tech preview. Hey man, we got a ton of recruiting news. Good, maybe bad, depending on how you want to look at it. But there's a lot of interesting things going on for Florida State on the trail right now. And of course, after the bye week, here we are, 24-point favorites. It's this good old Georgia Tech team. So if you're interested, you are on 863 Seminole TV, the baddest man on YouTube, and the realest Florida State channel on YouTube. So come in, grab your little something to drink, and chill. Because we about to tune in to the best show on the internet. Let's go. What is going on, Florida State family, Seminole Nation, and the 863 tribe? It is your boy POLK, a.k.a. A-Lo, a.k.a. the goddamn truth. And we had a bye week last week. We took a break. We chilled. We got our minds right. It's back to business. Georgia Tech, you next up on the list. FSU comes out of the bye week 4-3 with a winning record, which is a positive. You did lose 3 straight. The only thing you can take from that is, well, you lost 3 straight to maybe the best 3 teams on your schedule. Not a good look, in my opinion, but to still be 4-3 after that and still have a chance to finish strong, which I got to tell you, man, week after week, that back half of the schedule don't look tough. It gets easier and easier, in my opinion. And that's mainly because one of your rival schools, one of your rival teams, they're packing it in early, y'all. They are tanking on the job. But we're not really here to talk about them. But we are going to talk about a little bit of Georgia Tech, mostly about recruiting, and there's a lot of interesting things happening on the trail right now. You know, we might even look forward to a little bit of Miami stuff because we are a 24-point favorite. I think it's a valid spread. I think we could do to Virginia Tech something similar to what we did to Boston College. I don't want to jump too far out there and act like Virginia Tech's played a little better since, but they're not world beaters. We had a bye week to get a little bit healthier. So I don't really see Georgia Tech as a threat. I don't even believe your boy plays. Jeff Sims, I don't think he even plays this week from everything they're saying. Right? I don't even think that he plays this week. So if that backup guy's playing, the game could get ugly. Now we still got to go out there and do what we got to do. But I believe after 7 games, I think we all kind of know what kind of team we are. Again, the Boston College game did happen, which was also viewed as a very inferior opponent, and they went out there and handled business. So after 7 games, after 3 tough losses that you were competitive in all 3 games, if you still want to come in here and talk about we ain't world beaters either, we ain't this and that, whatever. You continue to have that narrative. I'm not saying we're world beaters, but we're good enough to beat Georgia Tech, and we're good enough to beat them comfortably. So, again, not much to really review or preview. Oh my God. Yes, Adrian. I don't like the light off in my room. Turn the light on back in my room. Yes, sir. I will go turn the light on in your room. I will be right back because I have to go turn on the light. While I'm away, I'll let you guys jam out. Huh. All right, guys. I'm back. I am back. He always waits till I get on the computer to do that. Every time. So, we're back. I don't even know where I left off. Somebody tell me where I left off. Matter of fact, forget that. We got 30 people in the building. I know I usually do the little intro. Decided to cut it short today. So we'll probably get some more people in here shortly. Got 30 people. Let's go ahead and do a roll call, and then we'll get back into the topics. So let's scroll up. By the way, hit the like button because that's really the best way you can support the channel. So hit the like button, get in these comments, let yourself be known, and let's hit this roll call. Boxing Monster, member 863 Tribe. Tyler Hedden, member 863 Tribe. Briley, New King God. Peter Shields, member 863 Tribe. Black Sheer Knoll, Dan Squatch, Jose Garcia, Marvin Barnes, Vontae B, Jamal M, FSU Rose, member 863 Tribe. Jacarius Middleton, Todd Pope, D. Thompson, Irv Wallace, member 863 Tribe. Mayan King, Panama Jack, Mrs. Lopez, Adang Bay, Mike Myrick, sorry. EMG, Marcus Lewis, member 863 Tribe. Florida State Love in the building. Again, hit that like button, share the videos, man. Let people know we are live and we are about to get it popping. Like I was saying, man, what do we really need to go over with Georgia Tech? They're a team that's fired their coach, 3-4 games into the season. They're a team that might not even be having their starting quarterback. They're a talent deficient team. I mean, I said this a couple weeks ago, and I'll say it again. If you lose to Georgia Tech, well, fire up the spaces. Because if you lose to Georgia Tech, then yeah, it's time. And that's not a knee-jerk reaction. that has now become a pattern. To lose to Georgia Tech, which again, I don't believe that happens. I don't believe that happens. See, I can't do it. Hold on. Every time, if you lose to Georgia Tech, it's a wrap. I think we win comfortably. I don't know if we covered the what's the 24 points. I don't know if we covered that. All indications say we probably should. But I definitely think we beat them by at least 17. We should be somewhat healthy. Fabian Lovitz, I believe, is a game time decision as far as, if you want to talk about the Florida State side of things. Florida State, Fabian Lovitz is a game time decision. What other injuries were we facing? You had another week for your boy Verse to heal up, so maybe he can be more effective. I don't know about Trey Benson. I don't know if anybody knows about Trey. I don't know about Trey. He probably doesn't play. Not Trey Benson. I'm sorry. Trey Benson will definitely play. I meant Trayshawn Ward. My apologies. Don't know about Trayshawn Ward and whether he plays or not, but probably we'll see. We'll probably see Jakai get more opportunities, and who knows, man? Maybe if we do get up big, we get some AJ Duffy action and some of that stuff. So, yeah, like I was saying, I think we win, but there's no excuse. There's almost no excuse to lose these next two games. The only thing in Miami's favor, and we're gonna jump into that because again, remember how I told you I was looking past Duquesne? I'm kind of looking past Georgia Tech. I don't know how far I really want to go there. But I just don't really see talent for talent. The way this team has played this year, in my opinion, I don't believe we've played down to competition once. We've had a tough schedule. LSU. The LSU team looks better and better every week, don't they? Only bad game they've had is Tennessee, and look what Tennessee's on. Tennessee might make the playoffs, right? The LSU team looks better and better every single week. Daddy. Yes. Turn the light on in the bathroom. Why you keep bothering me? I need the light on in the bathroom. Okay. I need a nanny or something. I need a nanny. I need like somebody to come get these kids. Mainly just this one kid. The other one's good. But this one, man, oh man. But yeah, man, I don't really foresee Georgia Tech being much of an issue here. I think, if we don't cover, I think we get close to covering. Again, I don't think we've played down to any competition. I think we've played up to competition. Obviously, we haven't been able to win against arguably the good teams on our schedule, other than one good team on our schedule. But we also haven't lost to any team that we were supposed to beat, to be fair. So again, don't think Georgia Tech's an issue. I'm just saying, worst case scenario, if that happens, fire up the spaces. But I don't really want to waste too much more time. on Georgia Tech, if I'm being completely honest with you. No, not necessarily any disrespect to Georgia Tech, but who cares? Alex Atkins. It's kind of been a decent talking point. Alex Atkins. Charlotte job has opened up. It makes sense that the former OC would be a potential candidate. I think Atkins, you know what, before I get to Atkins, let me see if anybody's got any comments in the comment section to talk about Georgia Tech before we move on. I'm gonna scroll up a little bit. What's up, 226 Tim? Montre, what's going on? You love your son. I'm glad you love him. Somebody has to love him. No, I don't think we're losing. Dan Squad says, Cuse on the road is the difference in the back 5 games being successful now. What is a success? Because I disagree. I think Cuse is probably definitely one of the 2 toughest games you have left. The other one, in my opinion, is still Florida. But we got to see how Florida closes out. I mean, Florida's probably going to get mollywopped this weekend. So we see how that team plays down the stretch. But you can lose the Cuse and go 4-1 and be 8-4. So I don't. I guess what is a success? Is it we're strictly talking 5-0, or is 4-1 not a success? Right? Insane. What's going on with your bro? He says we beaten Georgia Tech 33-13, and we beaten the U. We'll talk about the U a little bit later, but 33-13. Okay, I like it. Jack says we're beating Georgia Tech by 40. I don't know about by 40. Turn that light on. Yeah, you call him funny. I don't. He the show. He the star of the show. Apparently, everybody think he's just funny. We'll talk about the Canes here in a second. Okay, let's move on to Atkins. I think Syracuse is probably a better football team than UF. I don't necessarily disagree. I think UF has better talent overall, but it doesn't mean that they're a better football team. So I don't disagree. 35-10. Okay, 35-10. So y'all want my prediction just to get out of the way? I think that's fair to give a prediction on Georgia Tech just to get out of the way so we don't have to revisit the Georgia Tech conversation. I actually like 35-10, but I said it about a 17-point game. I'm interested to see if we can work out the kinks on offense. Like we struggled on offense really in the 3 games. In the 3 games that we lost, we struggled on offense, right? So I'm interested to see can we get the kinks out. So until they show me they can get back to scoring 30-plus points a game, which we were doing at one point, and then those 3 games happened. Did we even break 30 in any of those 3 games? I don't think we did. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Right? We only scored, what did we only score? What? 21 or 28 against Wake, 17 against NC State or whatever it was. And I think only 20 something against Clemson. So we ain't cracked back to the 30 points sent in those 3 games. Georgia Tech would be the team to do it. But until they show me they do it, I'm not going to say they do it. So I'm going to go. The thing is, I don't think Georgia Tech's going to have a good time on offense. So for me, I'm going to go 27-10. 27-10 for me. FSU wins. I would love to see us get back to scoring 30 points. This obviously is the game to do it, so they can definitely prove me wrong. I'm actually hoping they prove me wrong. But something about the offense hasn't been clicking. Granted, tougher competition is why the offense, probably the main reason why the offense started stuttering. But Jordan Travis hasn't been the best decision maker either. in my opinion, these few games. So I'm gonna say 27-10 because I think we win by 17. So yeah, absolutely. Please prove me wrong. To me, I don't even feel like I'm being negative. I just feel like they just got to still work out some offensive kinks. And I'm interested to see, is Trey Benson going to really be a full-time role with Trayshawn Ward probably being out? Trayshawn Ward was so critical for us. I mean, you're talking about a guy that was what? Over 6 yards a carry right there. Also, the fact that, just I think, guys like Johnny Wilson kind of came back to earth. I just want to see him put together 4 quarters of offense. That's all. Or hopefully they only have to put together 3 quarters of offense, and we can play the backup guys in the fourth. But I want to see it first before I go there. So 27-10 for me, man. 27-10. But I see some 35-10s. If we run, we can beat the U by 30-40. Peter Show says 35-9. That's not to say you're not good enough to beat UF, but if you can clear the bar of Cuse on the road, that makes a difference in 4-1 and 3-2. I don't think they run all 5. So okay, so you think we lose? Sounds like to me you saying we lose the UF. So to beat Syracuse, okay, that's a fair point. We get UF at home though. Anthony Richardson is the only thing that worries me about UF, if I'm being honest. If we don't contain him, I don't know, man. I don't know how that game goes. So I hear you. I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense. Because I've said all along, I think we split one of the rivalry games anyway. So I kind of pretty much agree with what you just said. Because I said all along that we would split one of the 2 rivalry games. And we all know how Miami's looking. So it would probably be Florida if we were to lose to one of the rivals. So yeah, if you can beat Cuse, that makes kind of all of the difference there. Got you. 35-14. Be disappointed with 27. Self-inflicted wounds are also why offense is struggling. Can we please force a turnover? Georgia Tech is a lot like BC, bad offense unless you catch Sims' hero game. I don't disagree with you. Don't disagree with that at all. Need to be aggressive to close out the season. The schedule and the team health is prime for a strong finish. I agree. The schedule really lines up for a strong finish. You think we'll see Fabe or Winston Wright? I think we'll see Fabian again. I don't think we see Winston Wright. I don't think they should. I've said this before. I don't think they should play Winston Wright for this season. I think they should hold Winston Wright, see if this guy can qualify for a medical red shirt. So he still keeps his 2. I mean, either way, he's coming back next year because he still has a year of eligibility. But keep his 2 years with a medical red shirt. And Ontario Wilson's leaving. He slides right into Ontario Wilson's spot. And for all intents and purposes, Ontario's probably your number 1 receiver. He's number 1 and number 2 next to Johnny. So, and I'm not even talking about necessarily production, even though production he probably would be number 1 and number 2. I'm talking about just the way they utilize him. I think Winston Wright slides right into Ontario Wilson's spot next year. I wouldn't waste them if I didn't have to, and I don't feel like you have to. I feel like you got your wide receiver room, and then you just brought back Chakai. So I don't know how you managed to bring back another receiver. I don't think you need to bring him in. I don't think you need to bring him in. I think you can save him. So UF has bad depth on both sides of the trenches. I'll be at the Miami game with the keep Telemundo Cristobal sign forever. Forever sign. We can't use him for 3 games. No, because he's not a true freshman. He's already got a red shirt. He's a red shirt junior, which means he had this year and next year. So he's already got a legal red shirt. You would just be wasting him at that point if you were to bring him back. So, because I don't think he would qualify for a medical if he played a game. That kind of defeats the purpose of the medical red shirt, right? And because he's already been legally redshirt is not the phrase, but since he's already used his one legitimate red shirt, he can't sit out, or we can't use him for like a 3-game stretch and him keep a red shirt because he doesn't have a red shirt. Doesn't qualify for one. Anthony, what's up, bro? He says, I think Johnny come back down to earth is that Travis don't look to throw him the ball as much as Tate did. I think Tate made his business to look for Johnny first, not Trav. UF, Cuse, Miami. Those are the 3 toughest games, I'm assuming you're saying. Our secondary needs to have a breakout game. They've been struggling this year. If Wright is healthy, maybe set up a package. I don't know if he's a waste in these last 5 games. He looks good for a freshman. That guy looks like he definitely doesn't have a freshman body, right? I think if he was eligible this year, he probably would have got some snaps, especially with the injuries we suffered along the defensive tackle. He probably would have saw some playing time. I'm with you there, though. Next year, I think he's going to be good to the room. But Mr. Orr says, I don't know if he's a waste in these. I think only thing I would ask, and, it's fair if you think Wright, should play. I'm not saying he shouldn't. I'm just kind of looking towards the future. I just would ask, if you're going to put Wright in the game, who you taking off the field, and the man hasn't played football all year, so now you're asking him to, like, contribute. I just would say, why not sit him? And he comes back full force next year, like in shape, full year off of the injury. Like that. That's just kind of how I view it. I just think, I don't know. I just think it's kind of a waste to play him, but just my opinion. Let's talk about it, man, because you guys are gonna just keep asking questions. I'm just gonna keep answering. Alex Atkins, his name has been in the mix for this Charlotte job that's just recently opened up. And people are a little bit worried. I wouldn't be. I'm not saying he doesn't maybe entertain that job. But if I'm Mike, both Mikes, if I'm Alfred and Mike Norvell, I sit Atkins down and say, Charlotte is maybe one of the tougher group of 5 jobs you can take. And that's mainly because of its location. Atkins is a great recruiter at Florida State. It's going to be tough for this man to recruit at Charlotte, and you're recruiting the same kids as a Clemson, a North Carolina, a South Carolina. Clemson, North Carolina, South Carolina, NC State, hell, Appalachian State's in the area. If you want to talk about a group of 5 school that a kid would maybe prefer over Charlotte. If I'm Florida State, I'm just talking to him and I'm convincing him, yes, you have an opportunity at Charlotte, but you know what? You stay here another couple years, another 2-3 years. If you continue the trend you're on with recruiting, the offense has gotten better under his watch at OC. And I think that's a combination of him and Norvell, obviously. Continue that trend and forget about Charlotte in 2 to 3 years. And I'm just going to say a school as an example. Hell, Mac Brown is what, almost 80? In 2 to 3 years, North Carolina might be calling you up. And there's no way you don't take that job. Because Mac Brown is like I said, Mac Brown's 70-something. He's not going to coach there forever. 2 to 3 years, you got Mac Brown calling you up. Hell, you might have Louisville calling you up in 2 or 3 years. Like, he's going to have plenty of Power 5 opportunities. Hell, he might get some SEC schools calling his name in a couple years, depending. So, and then obviously you got to pay the man. And I don't know how much Charlotte's current coach makes. I would assume anywhere in the $2 to $3 million ballpark. You're not going to pay him $3 million to be the OC, but a 1.5. I think that's an easy no-brainer if I'm Florida State. I think Mac Brown's Mac Brown. I think Alex Atkins has a chance to ruin himself at Charlotte. Whereas you stay at Florida State for a few more years, I think, he's going to be up here in terms of up and coming coaches that people are going to want. And someone like that may definitely give him a chance. This is my opinion on Atkins. I don't think Florida State should worry too much. If you're a Florida State fan, I don't think you should worry too much. I don't think Atkins takes that job. He may interview. He may use it as a chance to get a raise, which I don't blame him. But I don't think he takes that job just because I'm not sure he's ready for a head coaching job just quite yet. And then I don't know if that's the one you take. Don't always take the first one that comes your way. I think there's bigger and better opportunities for him on the horizon, but that's just me. That's just me. I'll go to the comments here before we move on. Do I think Johnny leaves after this year? No. He's only a redshirt sophomore, and though he's shown flashes, Johnny still has a lot of room to improve. So no, I don't think so. He could do better than that if he continues to recruit and do well at FSU. Yes. Definitely have to pay him a raise. Head coach aspirations or not, why wouldn't you want to actually coach these kids he's recruited? The Duke is in the area as well. And Elko is not a bad coach, as you see, year one. I think Atkins might get some other offers too. We'll see. With 1 year being a Power 5 OC, I don't think he gets any offers to be a head coach. Unless you're talking more schools like Charlotte. If you're talking more schools like Charlotte, Irv, then maybe. But like I know Auburn's probably going to open up. There's no way Auburn looks at Alex Atkins. Right? Now, if Auburn came calling, I don't think you can. Obviously, he takes that job. There's no way I'd give that job up, even though that's going to be a tough place for him to coach as well. But I don't think Auburn's going to go after a guy like Alex Atkins with very limited experience for his first head coaching job. I think he's been cleaning up somebody else's mess for 3 years, finally get to work with these. That's true, too. Alex Atkins has been cleaning up that O-line mess since he's been here, and now he's finally getting his boys in here, and he's going to be able to work with his guys and mold his guys. That's what I'm saying. Give him another 2 or 3 years, and there's going to be some big opportunities on the horizon. Charlotte coach was making $800K. Thank you for that information. I believe Alex Atkins already makes, if not that much. I think Alex Atkins is like right under $1 million. I don't think I think Alex Atkins, because he got a raise for being the OC last year. I think Alex Atkins actually might make the same amount as the OC. So, yeah. How much is Charlotte really finna break the bank here to pay Alex Atkins when he's making that already as the offensive coordinator at Florida State? So that's great information right there. That kind of furthers my point that I don't think you have to worry about Atkins going to Charlotte. I can see A&M is getting away from Jim. That Jimbo situation is a mess down there. If Atkins goes to Charlotte, it's because he doesn't want the Power 5 pace for whatever reason, because he's too smart not to see his potential. Yeah, I agree with that. He knows exactly. And you just said the Charlotte coach is making 1.2, which again, I think Florida State for an OC, that's not crazy these days. I think they can match that if they wanted to. But I agree with that second sentence or whatever, because he's too smart not to. He knows where he's being projected right now, and it's not Charlotte. Miami might open up in a couple years. What's going on, Sandra? I didn't think about it. That might be a problem. I didn't think that it might and probably will ruin him. A dance squad. I'm confused. What big time kids at Charlotte? No, he was saying his big time kids here, Panama. At least that's what I think it was saying. A POLK Charlotte coach only making $800K, and that's another person that said $800K. So whether it's $800K or 1.2, honestly, neither one matters. Florida State matches both. But that may ruin him too. Which one? What might ruin him? Ultimately, he can go to any job and be ruined. But would you rather go to Charlotte and fail, or would you rather North Carolina come calling and you fail there? What's going on, Irv? I mean, the last class he signed and the one we currently got, Kearney or no, I'm not too worried about Kearney, but we'll talk about him coming up here shortly. He's going to get Chester. I do like Chester. What up, Anthony Pope? What do you think about the recruiting right now? Kearney decommitting, Rick's coming. We're going to get on that recruiting right after we're done with these last few comments. Does Jim will get fired at A&M? You see the culture's bad. I think what you're seeing right now, I think Jimbo might get fired. And I think the reason you're seeing these stories come out about kids smoking in the locker room and all these kids getting suspended because they're trying to Jeremy Pruitt him. And I'm not feeling any sympathy for Jimbo, but I'm strictly speaking, if they fired him without cause, they owe him an absurd buyout. But if you fire him for a cause because of a dysfunctional, or I don't know what the wording would be, but losing control of your program, bad, disorderly conduct or whatever like that, as those stories continue to come out, which it looks like Texas A&M is releasing this stuff on purpose, they might have a case to fire this man for cause. And once you fire him for cause, you don't have to pay him that huge sum of money. And Jimbo Fisher will be coaching at West Virginia next year. I'll just put that out there. He'll be at West Virginia. But he might very well get fired, which a lot of people thought the buyout would save him. But now all these ridiculous stories are coming out about kids smoking weed in the locker room. I saw another story today that Jimbo and some kids after the game, some kids that were suspended or something were in the locker room eating candy, and Jimbo got into a fist fight with them. Something crazy. There's a ton of stuff coming out. He's clearly lost. They're giving the perception that he's clearly lost control of this program. Because there are already kids that's saying that they're about to hit the portal, big time 5-star kids. And that stuff, like they're gonna find a reason to fire him for cause and not have to pay him that money. So that is what's looking like that's gonna happen right now. What is going on, Kendrick? Remember the 863 tribe. Matthew, what's going on? Kendrick don't think he leaves. So yeah, recruiting, man, recruiting. So let's just start off with Rod Kearney. We knew Kearney was decommitting here for a few weeks now. Like we talked about it a couple weeks ago, right? And it's kind of one of those things we were just waiting for when the announcement was coming, right? A lot of people jumped on that story pretty quickly. And to Florida State fan base, I'll talk about the fan base here. To the credit of our fan base, nobody really cared. I'm not gonna lie. Like I was on the Twitter. What was it, yesterday or the other day, whenever he decommitted, nobody made a fuss about it because it was like expected. No one really cared. It wasn't a reason to really get up in arms. I'm not saying we didn't want him. People take it because you don't act up because we didn't complain. Oh, nah, they acting like they didn't want him. Never said we didn't want him. We absolutely wanted to keep him along with the guys we got coming in on that offensive line. But you can't force a kid, obviously, to stay with you. And he's been trending to Florida for a few weeks now, so it was pretty obvious that he was going to decommit. Whatever they're doing over there at Florida, I guess he likes it. It's a weird recruitment. You talk a bunch of crap about them after the summer when you commit it while on their campus still. You talk crap about the staff, only to then go back to the staff. Hey, more power to you, manage your recruitment and enjoy the process. But as far as I'm concerned, we move on. If I say this before and I say this again, if there's one position I ain't worried about, it's that offensive line position. Atkins will have an answer for any question that arises, and then he'll have an answer for the next question that arises. So I'm not too worried about offensive line recruiting at all. But Cedric Baxter, man, he was on campus for FSU's last game, and apparently he's going to be on campus for FSU's game this week. If you don't know who Cedric Baxter is, by some scouts, he's the number one running back in the nation, but he's considered definitely a top 5 running back in the nation. One big-time prospect. I believe he's out of Orlando, Florida, was once committed to Florida State. Pretty much all of last year was committed to Florida State and decommitted earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe at the end of last year. Once committed, and now it looks like he's currently committed to Texas, but Texas is taking their lumps as well. I believe they lost to Oklahoma State. That's interesting to watch. I don't know if we get Baxter back on Mick, but I mean the fact that a committed player to Texas, and we'll see where else he visits, because I'm pretty sure obviously Florida State isn't the only place he's coming, right? I'm pretty sure he's going to take some other visits to some other schools. He's obviously not fully committed to Texas. He's gonna play the field here, but it's interesting that he still has Florida State somewhat of an interest in FSU for whatever reason after decommitting, and then for the entire year up until committing to Texas, Florida State wasn't in his top 5, so it's not like he kept Florida State in the mix. It was like a Florida, Miami, Texas Final 3 or something like that. So I'll be interested to see if a Miami or Florida gets a visit there. But Florida State being in the mix for Baxter and him coming the last 2 games is interesting. And I mean, it's trending well. I just would like, hopefully we can close that one out. I'm not going to get my hopes up too much, but hopefully we can close that one out. But I got to think that Baxter's probably looking at our running backs and saying, man, these guys are eating. And the crazy thing about it is none of those guys, and we're just going over recruiting rankings, but none of those guys are as talented as me. Trayshawn Ward was a 3-star, but he was also a walk-on. Trey Benson was a 3-star. I mean, what can I do? What can I do in that type of system? You feel me? So I think that's probably why he's interested. But speaking of not getting too excited, then you got Ricks. Now, if you don't know, it was Desmond Ricks, at one time 2024 prospect, has reclassed to the 2023 cycle. Desmond Ricks also, also at one point he was never committed, but at one point was considered extremely at Florida State was considered in a big time favorable position for Ricks at one point. And then something happened in that recruitment that turned sour, and he released the top 10 out of the blue one day, and FSU wasn't even in the mix, and that caused a lot of uproar. And now all of a sudden he's reclassed, and here he is visiting. I believe he's visiting this week as well. What does it mean? Well, I don't know what it means. It's exciting to have him on campus. I'll say that. It's exciting to see that his interest level is still at Florida State. But I got to be honest with you, man. It kind of goes to show you that the initial story never was true to begin with. Remember, you're talking about a guy in Ricks who said, Florida State just stopped communicating with me. Well, that's true. For one, why did you come back? Which we'll explain. Why did you come back? If Florida State stopped communicating with you, then how'd you get on campus this weekend? Did you reach out to Florida State? I don't believe that for 1 second. Maybe Florida State didn't communicate with you the way you want it, but I don't think that initial story seems all that likely right now, or is 100% truthful, obviously. I think Florida State definitely had communicated with him the whole time. I think maybe he wasn't hearing what he wanted to hear at the time. Maybe he thought because he was who he is that he deserved to be recruited harder. I'm not too sure. But if Florida State were talking to you, what made him all of a sudden pick up the phone? It ain't got shit to do with being a reclass. I don't believe so. I don't think. And then if they weren't communicating with you, why did you pick up the phone? If that was the case, that the only reason they communicated with you now is because you reclassed. Wouldn't you be sour about that? Wouldn't you have some type of feelings? Wouldn't you not want to talk to a staff that didn't prioritize you? I don't think we get Ricks. I'm not going to sit here and pretend. It's cool to have him on campus. Maybe you get him on campus and you can sway him. I don't know. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like we have a legit. I think we got a better shot at Baxter than we do at Ricks. I'll be honest with you like that. And I'm not too sure we get either. But I think we got a better shot at Baxter. With that said, I don't know, man. That whole they're not talking to me anymore to now all of a sudden we're back in the mix kind of screams attention grabber for me. That's really what that screams. I'm not saying he's a bad kid. I'm not saying you don't want him. I'm not saying you don't want his none of that. It just screams attention grabber, and man, that's just how I feel. That's just how I feel there. That's pretty. Am I forgetting anything on recruiting trail? I don't think I am. I think that's the biggest news. Ricks, Baxter, Kearney. After Kearney's decommitment, you also had a gang of Florida State players, or excuse me, Florida State current commits that came out and reaffirmed their commitments, like Simmons and Rawls. So that's good to see, right? That's good to see. Let's get to some comments before we move on. Let's start. Let's start with Briley. I doubt the fight rumor is true. If it were, TAMU legal would have had to investigate and likely suspend Fisher while they did for allegations of violence between staff. But that's the thing, right? It don't matter if it's true or not. They're putting that out there to what? So they can have a list of reasons. I'm just saying. Yak is cooking. Baxter is having buyer's remorse. Had some Gator fan respond to a comment on a video from his commitment from months ago. Bring on Baxter, bro. Pull up some Baxter film. A dude is huge. Imagine a running back room with Baxter and Cam Davis. Yeah, that would be kind of crazy. Baxter want that Behan role. Yeah, we have to be careful with Baxter. Cedric Baxter is looking for a good enough reason to pull the trigger and play for his childhood favorite. Win the next two, and I bet he flips. Okay, Briley, confident with the Baxter stuff. I think our running game got him thinking. I agree there. That's what I think ultimately. And I get it. You grew up loving the team too, but also think about what Mike's doing, man. And I don't want to say Trayshawn Ward isn't talented because I think he's talented. And I don't want to say Benson isn't talented because obviously he's talented, but a guy like Cedric Baxter is considered in a whole different league, right? What I'm trying to say is I just would love to see running like elite level potential running backs in this system. Mike did an excellent job in the run game against Clemson. He probably can see himself in this offense. He would be a young 1K yard rusher at FSU, no doubt, no doubt. We do need more backers. T2Y is in the building. Not going to read that comment, but what's up, T2Y? Rick's just taking a free visit, in my opinion. Norvell's backs do be always getting yards, even when the line is wet riding trash in the alley 2 years ago. Can't think of a game that Norvell has had to win Can't think of a game that Norvell has to win other than this week. Scary. I kind of think he has to win Miami. He has to win Louisiana too. The games we're supposed to win, he has to win these games. Miami maybe not as much because it is a rivalry game, but come on, man. Miami's hot dumpster juice. Or what do we say? Spoiled rat meat. That is what Hawaii. That is what Miami is. What up, Chris? Orlando on the check-in. Miami is scoring 18 points per against Power 5 comp. If they lose Saturday, they'll finish 3-9. Book it. If they lose Saturday, I'm gonna be clear, and we're gonna get into Miami talks after I finish these comments because we're kind of looking ahead to Miami, and we'll get a little bit of a weak head start on Miami. If they lose to Virginia, I'm telling you right now, they book it. They might as well cancel the season. I think they quit. They lose to Virginia, and Virginia is terrible. I think they quit. I don't think they lose to Virginia, though. I'll be honest with you. I don't think they're going to lose to Virginia. If they lose to Virginia, boy, oh boy. Alex Atkins to the 49ers. Nah. Probably just free lunks for Ricks. I'd rather have people trying to poach my OC than begging people to take him off my hands. Give me Baxter over the whole new crop of new names. He's seen he has an easy starting DB spot. I'd rather have Ricks. We need DBs. He's accused other schools of the same thing, talking about Ricks. It has he. Again, attention seeking. If that's true, then that's attention seeking, bro. He's just not saying it's bad. His recruitment, he's allowed to play it how he wants. Sometimes you got to be careful. Yeah, that's the question. Ask. Forget what if we lose Georgia. If y'all lose to Virginia, how many games do you win? Who's the other Damari Brown? That's a guy I want too. He's out of South Florida. I would love to get him. Mike took that copter. He did take that funny looking helicopter out there. I'm not knocking the copter. I just think, whatever. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Imagine losing to Duke. Never lost to Duke. Don't know what it feels like. Hakeem is going to be there. Now that's cool. Hakeem should be getting in the backs. Like he can get into Rick's ears too. Don't get me wrong, but obviously them both being offensive players, man. I think Hakeem should be all over Baxter. Pause. Bricks was the one crying. Yeah, he was. Well, he was the one saying that he wasn't crying. He released the top 10, and people were wondering what happened to Florida State, and he just explained what happened to Florida State. He wasn't crying. Miami looks like dog doo-doo against the 77th most difficult schedule in the nation. FSU played the 10th most difficult. It's honestly not close. So let's get to that conversation, man. That's what I'm saying. I agree. But let's get to that conversation, right? We'll look ahead and get to that conversation. If I put these two teams and I took the logo, I took the U off the helmet, I took the spear off the helmet, and I had one team in all white and the other team in all black. I had Florida State. Let's say I had Florida State in all white and Miami in all black. And you took all the logos, all the colors away. And I threw those two teams. Forget about throwing them on the field. And if I watched the first 7 games of this season, even with the 4-3 record, if you watched Florida State and Miami, but took away all the logos and blurred the player, like just generic teams. So you didn't know the players, you didn't know nothing, and you just watched the two teams. There's not a Miami fan in here that would say those two teams are on the same level. And if they are absolutely lying. Florida State is clearly a better football team. Clearly a better football team. The only thing that even puts that game into question is that it's the rivalry game. And when we know how these rivalry games go, the teams get hyped up and players want to play. Teach why you don't even believe what you just typed, bro. There's no way you watch Miami and watch Florida State and go, oh yeah, Miami's just as good as Florida State, bro. Even at 4-3, if y'all are an F grade, Florida State's a C plus. And that's a big difference in terms of caliber. That's a big difference, bro. There's a reason why y'all quit. Y'all quit against Duke. You quit. Duke could have put up 50. They showed y'all mercy by kneeling. They literally could have put up 50 on y'all. But I'm saying all that to say, if I could just judge the game based off that, there's no question Florida State wins by at least 2 touchdowns against Miami. There's no question. Miami wouldn't be any team that we've played on our schedule right now maybe Boston College, and you can't even guarantee that because Middle Tennessee State hasn't won a game since they've beaten Miami. So all this, you can't even say that, oh, well, Middle Tennessee, they're a good group of five school. No, they're not. They haven't won. Not only have they not won a game, they've given up 40 plus points a game since beating Miami. Middle Tennessee State is not good. Texas A&M is 3-4, not good. Those are only 2 games. I guess if you want to count your hat on barely losing to North Carolina, fine. Y'all wouldn't have won. Yeah, you can't name one team on our schedule that y'all would have beaten. I'm not talking about Duquesne. With maybe Boston College, and I don't even think you can convince that y'all ain't a bank to beat Boston College. Like, let's just be honest. If we're going to have the Miami-Florida State discussion, and again, this is just a preview for what you can expect next week, but if we're really going to have the discussion, who would y'all have beaten? Because LSU would dog walk y'all. LSU would dog walk y'all. Y'all wouldn't be able to do nothing with Louisville and Cunningham. Y'all definitely not beating Clemson, NC State, or Wake Forest. Who would y'all have beaten? If y'all had our record and we had y'all's record, we'd have won or be undefeated. That is no cap. If FSU had Miami's schedule. If FSU had Miami's schedule and Miami had Florida State's schedule, we both would have one in the column. We'd probably have one loss and y'all would have maybe one win. And that is the damn truth. That's the truth. I'm not even trolling. The sad part is I'm not even trolling. Somebody tell me, Irv, my bad. I almost missed that super chat. So I'm going to go back up. But seriously, in the comments, somebody tell me I'm like trolling. Like, I just want somebody to have a legit football take. No trolling, no just talking crap. Like, legit talk ball with me right now if you're a Miami fan. I just want to talk ball, and you tell me what Miami does better than Florida State. And I'm going to go up to this super chat real quick. Irv with the $10. What up, bro? He says, POLK, is it me? But why does it seem the Noles has to wait to have success while others are turning it around quicker with less talent? Or am I overreacting? Well, you know what? I think every program's different, Irv. Because remember, we were saying this last year about Michigan State. They turned it around in year 2, 10 wins. And now look at them this year. They kind of regressed. Do I want to just have a 10-win season or do I want to have a sustainment of excellence? I think it's a little bit of give and take there. Some teams have turned it around sooner, like a TCU with a first-year coach. They're undefeated. But can they sustain it? It's hard to see. Yeah, I think we all would like to be 6-1, 7-0 right now. Absolutely no doubt. But like someone said in the comment section, bro, we got the 10th hardest schedule in the country. We would all like to have a better record, but after every game, man, you get emotional and we say, but I think if you ask most Florida State fans, again, just watching the team, do you like what you've seen so far? I think most people would be like, we still got stuff to work on, but yeah, I like it. Just what's really saving this team for me is we haven't lost the Jacksonville State game so far this year. Meaning we haven't lost the game that it's like, how the hell did we get upset by Boston College at home? Like we didn't do that. We threw 44 on them, 44-10 or whatever it ended up being. We blew them out of the water, right? That's kind of the saving grace for me this season. Honestly, the teams that we've lost to, we were supposed to lose to. Now, would I've loved to beat one or two of those teams? Absolutely, because it was shown that we were beyond pace. But and that's what I'm like, as long as you beat Georgia Tech, as long as you beat Louisiana, as long as you beat you beat the teams that you're supposed to beat, yeah, I'm not too worried. I'm not too worried, but man, I appreciate the $10. I know I gave a long, drawn-out answer right there, but I know I felt like that was a good question. And I know you, Irv, you like the P-dub, so here you go. Yeah, get more money, more money. Yeah, more money, more money. Yeah. Richard says FSU is now a team that plays hard the whole game. 3-9 coming. It's on the way. Miami loses. If they lose to UVA, yeah, I agree with you. I think they pack it in. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Your players are in game 7. Again, this is why I like these comments, T2I. Again, I don't know if you're trolling, if you've been for real, but I'm not trolling you. I'm just talking ball. If 7 games into your system, your players don't know it, your coaching sucks. If an entire offseason, winter ball, spring camp, summer workouts, fall ball, here we are, and your excuse is we don't know the system, you have some terrible teachers. I guess Mike Elko and Duke in year 1 was able to teach their system 7 games into the season. I'm gonna catch up in the comments here. No, John, why do I have to wait? This is my thing, man. I gotta say this, man, because you're not the first one, John, that says this. Why do I gotta wait to talk about this stuff? First of all, this is 863 Seminole TV. So y'all came to listen to me talk. So I'm gonna talk about what the hell I want to talk about. So if I want to talk about Miami, guess what we gonna do? Why I gotta wait to talk about Miami? Y'all didn't wait to win football games before y'all was in my comments trolling all off seasons. Y'all didn't even wait till games was played. Mario was this and Mario was that, and we went in the Coastal finally, and we going to. Y'all didn't wait none of that. But why I gotta wait till we play each other to talk? That rich coming from the guy who hit on Saturday to cry in his car. Miami fans will be on Twitter. T2I, you going to the game? What's up, Zay? So if Miami beats FSU, then the Noles fans can just spin it and say thanks for getting. Mike's not gonna get fired, but that's a black eye. We lose to Miami, you'll hear you'll get a pretty good rant out of me. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm here win, lose, or draw, so I ain't gonna run nowhere. But we lose to Miami. If we lose to this Miami team, yeah, you get a damn good rant out of me, and I'll be pissed. Well, we got to talk about. He said, "Let's move on to Q's. Let's jump up. Let's go all the way to Thanksgiving and just talk about Florida. How about that?" It amazes me that Miami fans still talk trash. It's like if we didn't pack them up last year. I've seen a lot of Miami fans compare that too. A lot of Miami fans have said, "Well, y'all sucked last year and y'all beat us, and we were kind of having like the kind of year y'all having this year, and where we weren't that good. We were just kind of winning." No. You can say what you want about last year. We did not have a great year. Yes, we lost to Jacksonville State. Absolutely. We were not getting blown out. Like Jacksonville State beat us on a last-second Hail Mary fluke. Hate to say it, but that's what it was. What they didn't do was line up and go up and down the field, throw for 5,000 yards on us and get 3 long passes of over 90 yards on us. That's not what Jacksonville State did. They didn't line up and just beat us playing regular football. They got a last play, Hail Mary. It happened. It's not the first time in college football that's ever happened. Those things have happened before. But what Middle Tennessee did to y'all, they just lined up and beat y'all. Against Middle Tennessee, y'all couldn't line up in the 5-yard line. Against Middle Tennessee, y'all couldn't line up and run it and get a touchdown. So it's not the same. Last year's Florida State team would whoop this year's Miami team. Let alone this year's. Desmond Ricks is coming. Yes, he is. Those boys want to talk until they get popped. Bro, ain't that crazy, Tyler? Spent the whole offseason talking. Now they getting punched in their mouth, and it's like, man, let's not talk about that until the game played. Before you was calling out you was calling out Miami way back before they hired Mario. Didn't nobody want to listen because I never seen it in Mario. But I was just a hater. But if you go listen to everything I said in the preseason about Mario, you'll be like, damn, that motherfucker was spitting. You'll be like, man, he was speaking some truth. They bragged about stuff that the man did at Alabama. Like, we ain't seen everybody have success at Alabama because the common denominator still ain't been, he's still there. The common denominator is still there. Everybody else is just a cog in the wheel. Everybody. Even the ones that left and had success are still a cog in the wheel, like a Kirby Smart. He was still a cog in the wheel. It's glad that he made his own lane. But look at Pruitt. For every Kirby, you can name Jeremy Pruitt. You can name, Sark. You look at what he did at USC and now here at Texas. And I actually like Sarkisian. But I don't know. I think he's better OC than a head coach. I tried to tell him that Mario wasn't that guy. A guy that can definitely recruit. But coaching, like, let's talk about his coaching. Yeah, never saw it. I was just saying that because Canes fans acted like they didn't care about the game last year, being happy. Yeah, no, I know what you were saying. Thanks to Jarvis Brownlee, Jermaine would have 4 or 5 sacks. Jermaine would probably, if he could play this depleted Miami offensive line this year, he might have a record-breaking day. The Miami team that just committed 8 turnovers really think they can beat FSU. Kendrick says facts. It was funny how fast those Miami fans told us our win last year. Oh, no, they thanked us all offseason. Oh, thank y'all, man. Thank y'all. Y'all got us Super Mario. Thank you, man. And they, yeah. Them boys thanked us for being losers. They thanked us for being losers. And instead of being rational fans, right, Tyler? Instead of them being rational and saying, you know what? Yeah, I'm excited about Mario, but he might have to come in here and rebuild some things. All the rationale went out the damn window. It was year one, we doing this. They bragged, the talent that they are blaming right now, they bragged about it all. That's why I don't take them serious. That's why I can't talk ball with them. Because the talent, if you go listen to them, and I listen to Miami channels because I love to listen to their agony, especially when they lose. I definitely tune in when they lose. When they win, I don't really pay them. I really don't listen. But when they lose, I go listen. I go listen. And all the players they blaming, the same players that they was this and they was that, and them boys beast, and they talented, and it's amazing how the story flips. It's amazing how people claim they for the kids and then turn on the players, all because they put so much stock in a guy that's making $8 million. You want to criticize the players, but we can't criticize the guy that's making $8 million a year, who wasn't paid to come in here and rebuild, was he? He was paid to get the job done off the rip. They bragged about an all-star cast. Them fans ain't never heard of a Broyles Award winner. All of a sudden, they was bragging about having a Broyles Award winner. They can't even spell Broyles. T2Y says, I'm talking about the game now. We're going to be FSU. We are going to make y'all cuss Norvell? Oh, I'm going to cuss him. You lose y'all, I'm going to cuss him. Mario's whole career was flashy recruiting. Thank you. Flashy recruiting. Never really won anything or put anything consistent on a football field. Okay, he won some games in the Pac-12. He also lost to a terrible Stanford team. Got blown out by Utah multiple times. Couldn't develop a quarterback. Now all of a sudden they got shout out to Kenny. He got Bo Nix looking like a real quarterback up there in Oregon. Like, you can dig into Mario's resume, bro, and pick it apart piece by piece. But I get it because we did the same thing with Taggart. So I understand it. And speaking of Speaking to a person that's been through it, you think they listen. Should have got Lane. POLK. Mario done blamed everybody. He done blamed the former staff. He blamed the media for putting unrealistic. The man done blamed everybody. He blamed his own players of being heartless. The man done blamed everybody. I'm disappointed in Briggs and D-Mac. I've been disappointed in D-Mac for sure, Dan Squatch. Briggs hasn't been as good as I thought he was going to be. And that's honestly, it's because I think he's more of an interior player than an outside player. More like an overpaid, I wouldn't call him an OC, more like an overpaid O-line coach, if we're being honest. Straight speed. That's my man Zay, man. Straight speed. How fast did Mario go from playoff year 1 to we're in a year? It's bro. Marcuson's been a better. That's a kid that's been way better than I thought he was gonna be. And at some points, I actually think they need to kind of utilize him more. I actually like him to a certain degree more than I like Cam McDonald, and I kind of hate to say that. I think he has a higher ceiling though than Cam. My man Zay, here we go. He finna try to rationalize it, but I'm all right. Here we go, Zay. We started 2-4 last year, and you see what Oregon doing. That's Mario's players. Javon Holland is a baller for the Finns. That's Mario's player. Bring in more Javon Hollands. He gotta build. Y'all keep saying it's Mario players, but y'all was bragging about Mario's players in the offseason. That's all I'm saying. All these reps for the D-line going to pay off next year. Agreed. I absolutely agree. Joshua Farmer we talked about it, Dan Squatch. Joshua Farmer's picked it up since that Louisville game, man. Daniel Lyons getting a lot of good snaps. I'm with you on the D-line. Can't blame the players when Mario offered most, and that's true too. Y'all blaming players that Mario recruited at Oregon. So it's not like Mario didn't want the same players y'all talking about. Mario made TVD from first round pick to undrafted, he meant. I'm going to rewatch this after we – okay, that's fine. Bro, please. If we lose, I'll eat everything I said. It doesn't change the fact that he's still a mediocre coach at best, but you'll have your bragging rights for the year. T2Y just runs at the mouth. It's constant. It's delusional. And it ain't nothing but noise. Doesn't matter what reality says. It's okay. Teams ain't that much different, but the mentality's still there. And 8 turnovers. 8 turnovers is just one game. That's just the Duke game. What about Middle Tennessee State? What about Texas A&M? Y'all can't hang your hat on Texas A&M being this good. I remember when y'all lost to A&M. Oh, we lost to a good SEC, a real good SEC squad. No, you didn't. You lost to a 3-4 SEC squad. Probably the only team that's going to finish worse than A&M in the SEC West is probably Auburn. So you're talking about the second worst team in the SEC West is the team y'all lost. Like, should have beat them. So, no, 8 turnovers is one game. But what about the other 4 games you've lost? I'm trying to tell him, Peter. We just got to commit. Stop lying. Where my phone at? A commit from who? Let me see. Might have some breaking news here, guy, unless Gaines is lying to me. Which I'll never accuse you of lying, Gaines. I believe you. But if it's true, it should be on my Twitter feed, and I don't see it. I do not see it. So you might have lied to me, man. And can anybody confirm or deny that we just got a new commit? Because I don't see it. Oregon's best players were all Mario's transfers. Stop the noise. T2I going to do all the things. That's the problem with Mario trying to cover up his inefficiencies by saying this a rebuild. He won 2 Pac-12 championships, and Oregon was 4-8. He cleaned up Taggart's mess. That's not true. That's not true at all. When Taggart left Oregon was a bowl team. Now, I'm not capping for Willie Taggart, but he didn't have to clean up Taggart's mess. Taggart was only there for 1 year. And they won 6. I think they won 6 or 7 games. They won 6 or 7 games. I know they made a bowl game. So they did not go 4-8 in Willie Taggart's lone year. That's not true. Come on, Kane Zay. Come with some facts. He didn't clean up nothing. Oh, we got a 2025 wide receiver commit. Nah, that's a couple years away. But shout out to, okay, cool. That's you know how I am about them even 2024 people. I don't really get too excited about. I'm really not gonna get excited about 2025 kid. But shout out to Dugans. You know, you're doing your thing. T2I will still show up and continue. No, T2I is allowed to show up here and say whatever he wants to say. He's been a staunch supporter of my channel. And I consider T2I a friend. Don't let the football trash talk get y'all confused of we don't get along. Me and T2I get along just fine. Good dude. He's helped me out a lot with YouTube. Just a good dude all around. But he gonna get this work when it comes to this trash talk. But he knows there's no hard feelings, and I know there's no hard feelings. Mario's a great coach for us. Just being a little. I'm not being salty. I can't even spell. I'm just jealous of the Kane. He might be. I mean, he's a. Y'all did this. Y'all did this Miami thing before, though, where you bring back. I mean, y'all have done it before, but we'll see. Like, if you think he's a great coach for you, we'll see. D line. So somebody's saying we get. So Gaines said we got a D lineman, Hardison. You got me checking the. I don't even see the. Oh, DL Hard. Okay, my bad. His name is DL Hardison. I got you. And yeah, somebody sent me the commitment. I just seen it. Wouldn't want it any other way. Committed to Florida State. Gold Knowles. Dugans is okay. That's what's up, man. I would let's get some 2023 kids, but okay, cool. Miami fans are going around calling this year's Mario's year 0. Bro, you can't call it a year 0. It's a normal year, not a COVID year. There's a lot of Florida State fans that don't like saying that COVID year was a year 0, even though I think there's some valid points to make that COVID should be a year 0. But I understand it. You're allowed to have that opinion. But there's no way you can call this a year 0. This is a normal football year. How the hell does he deserve a year 0? They fold when it gets rough. You can see it. And again, the transfers flash more every year. What the heck? What that tell y'all? He says they fold when it gets rough. You can see it. Honestly, I didn't see y'all quit till Duke. I didn't think y'all quit a game until the Duke game. So there's that. Did hide last year. Kane Zay, that's not true. Oregon was 7-5. Yeah. I already corrected him. Yeah, we did. We got a class of 25 commit, wide receiver, DL. What's his name again? DL Hardison. So if you guys want to get excited about that, go for it. I'm not. But good for you, young man. But you got a long way left to go in your recruitment process. O-line head Steele may have to clean. I'm gonna say this one more time about Steele. I don't know what y'all have and why y'all have this faith in Kevin Steele. Good luck with that. Go look up his resume. If you think that he's a good defensive coordinator, he's washed up at this point. Hell, he was washed up when he gave up 70 while being the DC at Steele at Clemson was the reason they went and got Venables, because that's how bad he ended there. So, I mean, yeah, you know, y'all can have all the faith in Steele if you want. Gaddis, Knowles, or Kane. Oh, God, John. Here you go, John. I got something for you, bro. Shut that up. I want to hear that shit. There you go. There you go, John. Max says we got a 25. If Max says it, you know it's true, baby. Shout out to Max. C2 all flash, no substance match made in heaven. Y'all got out outcoached by Duke. What up, Pat in the building? Yeah, what did happen to Dennis? I haven't seen Dennis in a while. Pope, did you see Ryan Fitz's brother? I did not see that. I don't know. I don't know if I want him. If I'm being honest with you, don't know if I want him. 7-6. You were right. My bad. Then Mario took over, and well, I mean, again, Taggart wasn't there that long, but shout out to Mario for having success at Oregon. Nah, bro, I wish you could be real good. Former FSU 5-star Cedric Baxter. Yep, tracking that. We talked about that one. Hit that like, man. Hit the like. And Mario came in and lost the bowl game. Who'd y'all put in timeout, man? Let me see. Box must leave John alone. Leave him alone. If he loses to Miami, then they should ship him off to Arizona State. I wouldn't be mad. We need some dogs. Back when we were kicking ass, we had dogs. I thought Leonard Taylor and all these boys was dogs. Y'all giving up on these kids? Thought y'all didn't do that. Like, I'm confused, bro. I'm confused. Polk, that wasn't Gaddis' offense at Michigan. That was hard. Yeah, I mean, you look at what they're doing right now over there in Michigan. Actually gotten better. Have you done a score? Yeah, I did. I said, what did I say? I said 27-10. But most of the fan base thinks, most of the fans in the chat believes, they believe like more of a 35-10 type of game or something like that. So a lot of people think we're going to score over 30. I think this is the game to do it. We just haven't done it in the last few weeks. So I want them to work out the kinks. So I said 27. But I would not be surprised if we Boston Colleges these boys. I just want to see it to believe it. Duke straight speed. No Squad says 31-7. And all we got to do is watch Middle Tennessee film. Pretty much, Pat. Pretty much. Just watch what Middle Tennessee State did, and you'll have no worries. But that's all I got tonight, guys. We talked about it all. Georgia Tech. Man, you don't even believe that. You don't even believe that. We did a little mini Georgia Tech preview because honestly, I don't think this game is much to talk about. And again, you lose this game, my hands are done. In year 3, if you're losing to this type of Georgia Tech team, I'm done with you. I'm done with you, and I don't know if there's any coming back for me. I know people will excuse it some, but if you lose to the Georgia Tech team, I'm done with you. I don't expect it to happen. So we talked about Georgia Tech, didn't spend too much time, talked about recruitment and Ricks and Baxter being on campus. We talked about Kearney flipping. We talked about we got a new commitment from a class of 25 kid, so that's cool. We've talked about what else we talked about. I think that's probably all we talked about, man. Recruiting, and then we talked about Miami. We talked about Miami for the good last 30 minutes of the show or so. We early Miami talk, since once Georgia Tech's out the way, we go right into Miami week, and the trash talking commences, and we begin the trash talk. So shout out to everybody who came through here tonight, man. Shout out to everybody. 48-7. Would love to see it. Douglas and Pittman are gonna have big games. It's a couple. Need more than a couple is all I'm saying. I ain't giving up. It's still line that shit up. Starts against Virginia. Duke basketball just beat Miami football. They done turned back to the kids' love for Mario. Sad to watch, Matthew. And you already know what time it is at Dang Bay. Teams that have scored 31 on Middle Tennessee: James Madison, University of Texas San Antonio, UAB, Western. That's a crazy list. That's all I got tonight, guys, man. If you didn't hit that like button on your way in, please hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe to the channel if you aren't subscribed, and share the video so we can continue to grow this channel. It's your boy POLK over here on 863 Seminole TV. Stay classy, Seminoles, and we are out here. Y'all have a good rest of y'all night. See y'all Saturday. Might even see you Friday. Who knows? But definitely see y'all Saturday. Go Noles.